Hello and welcome back to another tutorial for the 2D RPG kit. This time I would like to show you how to set up teleports to different scenes. We are still in the interior scene from the past tutorials and want to enable the player to go out and explore the world through this door right here. For this I already created a small town scene where we want to bring the player to when going through the door. And to make that possible, we need to connect the two scenes via the teleport prefab that we can get by right-clicking the scene's hierarchy and selecting teleport from the 2D RPG kit menu. Alternatively, you can just drag and drop the prefab directly from the objects folder inside the prefabs folder. With the teleport inside your scene, we can now expand the object inside the hierarchy and see that it consists of two components, the teleport to and teleport from components. The teleport to component is the green trigger collider right here that will bring the player to a different scene upon entering, and the teleport from component is this green circle that indicates the spawning position when coming from another scene. So now let's select the teleport to component again and place it on top of the door, which should lead the player to our interior scene. And around here is a good spot. Lastly, we click Edit Collider in the inspector and resize the trigger zone so that the player will collide with it when approaching the door. But please keep in mind to let the trigger protrude a little bit out of the door to make sure that the player can always collide with the trigger. Now let us bring the spawn point to the position where the player should appear when leaving this house. Here also make sure to leave enough distance to the trigger zone so that the player will not spawn inside the trigger zone, which would immediately bring the player back into the other scene. Now again in the teleport to component, this time inside the inspector, we can enter the scene name where we would like to teleport the player to. In this case, it is Tutorial House 1. The spelling needs to be 100% correct for this to work, so keep this in mind. Next, we need to specify a teleport name in order to enable two teleports to communicate with each other. Let's call this one town-house 1. And we will need the name for the second teleport, so let's simply copy the name. And now the first teleport is set up so that we can now open the interior scene. Save the changes here. And here we would like to connect the first teleport to this door. So let us bring the teleport into the scene and drag it into the right spot. Keep in mind the distance again. Now we want to connect to the town scene. And for the teleport name, we enter the same name as the first teleport so that they can now communicate with each other and are connected. Finally, we have to include both scenes in Unity Scene Manager by going to File and Build Settings. Under Scenes and Build, simply drag and drop all the scenes inside your project. Now we have set everything up and are ready to test. So let's hit play. And approaching the door brings us to the town scene as intended. We can walk around and re-enter the house and are brought back to the interior scene. Now you might have noticed that our player character wasn't facing the correct direction when spawning inside the two scenes. Like in this case, we would like the player to face down when coming through the door. We can correct this via the common event script that you can also get from the 2D RPG kit menu. Here under the player tab, We have several player settings that we can use in order to make the player face the correct direction by enabling the face player down option right here. Let's open the second scene again. And here we'll want the player to face down as well. And now the player should always face the correct direction. I will quickly place a player start in the scene so that we can have a look at the result from here. And now you can see that the player will face the correct direction when spawning in the two scenes. So, and that's it for the teleport tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel to always get the newest updates and tutorials.